Our topic for today is direct object pronouns. Now, first, we're going to stick in English and talk about what incarnations is a direct object pronoun. All right. A direct object pronoun in a sentence can be the person or thing that receives the action. Our key here is that receives the action. Of course, it is going to be a noun, a person, place, or thing. Now, don't get that confused with the subject. Remember, the subject is a person or thing that does the action. For example, he has the book. He is our subject. And then the book is going to be our action, or whatever receives action. What does he have? He has the book. There's our subject. There's our direct object. Alright, so let's go ahead and try to identify our direct objects by underlining the noun. So go ahead and hit pause and do so now. Alright, let's check our answers. Number 1, I read the book. You should have underlined the book. He eats a sandwich. You should have underlined sandwich. We are doing the homework. Our direct object is the homework. What are we doing? The homework. Number 4, you're studying for your test. What are you studying for? Your tests. And then finally, they read the novels. What do they read? Novels. Notice those are the items that are receiving the action. All right. Now let's talk about direct object pronouns then. Remember, from English class, a pronoun replaces the noun. So in this case, our direct object pronouns replace the direct object in a sentence. It is going to be, right now we're going to stick with it or them. I read the book. I read it. It is our direct object pronoun for the book. If we want to make things plural, I read the books. We are going to replace books with them. I read them. Now in English, the direct object and the direct object pronoun come after the verb. Notice that's not going to be the case in Spanish. Okay, now let's turn our Spanish brains on and let's talk about direct object pronouns in Spanish. Now, they must agree with the direct object they are replacing. So if it's the homework, la tarea, then we are going to replace it with la. If we want to say the chairs, then we are going to say las sillas will replace with las. Now, very important with our word order. In Spanish, the direct object pronoun comes before the verb, even though the direct object comes after the verb in a regular sentence. We'll talk about that more in the next slide. But first, let's talk about our direct object pronouns that are it or them. Notice, if we want to say it, it's singular, it's going to be lo if it's masculine, and la if it's feminine. If I want to make things plural, then I'm going to change them to los for masculine items and las for feminine items. Okay, so we're going to do this practice together, so please make sure that you go through these activities as I am saying them out loud. So 2 parts. First of all, you're going to underline the direct object in the sentence and then rewrite the sentence using the correct direct object pronoun. So ella usa el lápiz. She uses the pencil. First step, I want you to underline the direct object. You should have underlined el lápiz. Now the next step is to rewrite the sentence using the correct direct object pronoun. So I want you to write in Spanish, she uses it. You should have written ella lo usa. Notice I selected lo because our pencil is masculine, el lápiz. Yo veo a la maestra. I see the teacher. First of all, underline the direct object. Who do we see? You should have underlined the teacher. Now we're going to rewrite this sentence using the correct direct object pronoun to say I see her. Now keep in mind our word order is different. So our direct object pronoun comes before the verb. Our direct object pronoun is going to be la, because I'm talking about la maestra. So our correct sentence, I see her, yo la veo. All right, so let's get some more practice and some more examples. We're going to click through these sentences with the direct object used, and then we're going to see what it would look like using the direct object pronoun, also known as DOPs. So yo leo el libro, I read the book. Yo lo leo, I read it. Notice our word order again. Our direct object pronoun comes before the verb. Él come el sandwich, he eats a sandwich. Él lo come, he eats it. Nosotros hacemos la tarea, we do the homework. We do it, nosotros la hacemos. Número 4. Tú estudias para los exámenes, you study for your tests. Tú los estudias, you study for them. Ellos leen las novelas. Ellos leen las novelas. Ellos las leen. They read them. All right, so now we're going to add just a little more to our direct object pronouns. We're going to expand that chart a little bit. We're first using lo, la, los, and las. And now we're going to add some more people. So I believe this is the chart on your left that you're going to fill out on your notes. Me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, and las. In English, that means me, te, you. Lo could be him or it if it's an item, masculine item. La could be her or a feminine item, and then both of those include you formal. Nos would be us. Os would be you all if we were in Spain. Los if it's a masculine item or more than one person. Las would also be feminine items, and then if we're talking about a group of ladies, and they both include you all formal. So you're going to rewrite the sentence with the correct DOP. Make sure you fill this part out on your notes. So yo veo a usted, we're talking about a guy. What are we going to replace a usted with if we're talking about a guy? You would replace it with lo. Yo lo veo. I see him. Or excuse me, I see you, but we're talking about a guy. Ellos ven a nosotros. They see us. What are we going to replace a nosotros with? Think about your word order as well. Ellos nos ven. They see us. Tú ves a la chica. You see the girl. What are we going to replace la chica with? Tú las ves. All right. Now we have to break some rules when we're making a sentence negative. So a positive sentence, the DOP always comes right before the verb. Now that's the same case in a negative sentence. The DOP has to come right before the verb as well. They cannot be separated. Therefore, when we make a sentence negative, we move the word no to right in front of the DOP and then add the verb. So, here's some examples. Yo no cuido a mi hermana. I don't watch my sister. No, yo no la cuido. Notice the no is before the DOP. Yo no la cuido. Ella no hace la tarea. She doesn't do the homework. Ella no la hace. She doesn't do it. Notice our no, our DOP splits the no and the verb. So those are the only notes that we have on DOPs. Please make sure that you write down any questions that you have and ask those in class, and we'll get lots of practice with these DOPs so you can start to become more complex in your conversation and in your writing.